G'day, I'm Fayla Frizz. I'm an author in Outback Western Queensland, and I wrote a rom-com, and enemies are rivals to lovers between two bakers in an outback town, and I can't bake, which is very sad. So I'm going to start a sourdough, and it is thanks to Think for Earth. I met them at the Townsville Expo just recently, and they provided a sourdough starter, as well as with these really cool bread bags. But they've come with instructions on how to start my sourdough starter. So we're going to see how it turns out. Step one is we are going to put 1 tablespoon of the starter in a glass jar. Oh, I think this might have been the wrong thing to grab. I wish I'd gotten like a regular, real. Close enough. Okay. And then we're meant to bloom it. Then we're meant to add 20 ml of lukewarm water. This is probably more hot than lukewarm. Well, no, this is why I fail at baking, because I don't follow instructions. And then we want 20 ml. We want to bloom it in 20 ml of water for half an hour. That doesn't look like enough. Maybe the jar's too big. I'm gonna find out. Maybe if I like. I mean, the instructions were pretty clear, so I feel like I probably shouldn't put it. Maybe the jar's too big. I don't think I should add more water. I feel like that's kind of frowned upon. I also don't really want to like leave it there unattended. It'll be fine. Anyway, we have to leave this here for half an hour, so I'll get back to you. Okay, it has been half an hour. I think that's kind of vaguely. Anyway, the next step is to add 20 grams of flour. They didn't specify which flour, and I can't actually tell you if this is plain. I'm pretty sure this is plain flour. I'm pretty sure this was the only one I had left. However, it was in an unmarked jar because I kept swapping which one I had in there. And it was in a jar instead of in a, in its actual container. Largely because weevils kept getting into everything. But yeah, so that's our 20 grams of flour added to our sourdough starter. Because it's 20, 20, 20. It's 20 ml of water to 20 grams of flour to 20 grams, quote unquote, of the starter. Well, that's kind of dough shape. I think I was meant to stir that. I might check my instructions again. Yes, I was doing the right thing. We're meant to stir well. A chopstick may not have been the best choice here. We're meant to stir well, and then we're meant to leave it leave it loosely covered overnight. And then we revisit it tomorrow. I think they may have said 24 hours. I'll double check my instructions. Well, that's that's looking a little bit more like, that's a bit more dough-esque. Let's see if you can I don't know. Once again, I am not a baker. But this is a learning experience, everybody. Let's see how we go. Okay, it said to cover it loosely. But I had blowflies flying around my kitchen earlier. It's been very wet this year, which means they propagated, which means now they're everywhere. So I feel like loosely covered is not safe. So now I feel like something out of Winnie the Pooh. And there's my little sourdough starter. So fingers crossed. We're going to leave that for 24 hours. We'll see how it goes. And we'll see whether or not I can improve my baking and impress my characters. And this is day 2. We're meant to feed it. I'm still not wholly sure that this jar isn't too big for it. I suspect that it may be. Anyway, I'm meant to feed it, so I'm meant to give it 20 grams of more of flour, and like, here's like a, how do I make it like exacty? 1 and 2. Don't question the process. I told you straight up that I was not a good baker or cooker. And these are the consequences of my actions, in fact. Yeah. And then you want 1 and 2. I still feel like that's not enough. I'm pretty sure this is not enough for it. Yeah. We've added our 20 ml of lukewarm water and our 20 grams of plain flour to grow it. And I've read horror stories about people with sourdough starters who like don't follow the instructions and then they wreck their sourdough, and I don't want to be one of those people, because that would be me. But also it doesn't look wet enough. I feel like it's meant to be more than this. I don't know. I mean, like, it's kind of, I don't know. That's terrible. I mean, that's looking pretty dough-ish. Doughy. Anyway, this is day 2 of trying to grow a sourdough starter. If you know anything more about sourdoughs, let me know. Clearly, I need all the help I can get. Okay, bye. That bitch moldy. Yeet.